7, we're going over 2 types of knowledge. So what is a distinction? What does that mean? I'm going to use that word a lot in this video. What is a distinction? Well, if you were an African tribesman looking at your brown cattle, you would see 25 kinds of brown. Where if you're not an African tribesman, you don't know anything about cattle, and you look at the cattle, what you see is brown cattle. One cattle's, they're all brown. You know, it's a little lighter, a little darker. But essentially, they're all brown. But if you're a herdsman, in an African herdsman, you look at that same cattle, you see 25 distinctly different kinds of brown. And you can tell from which kind of brown what the health of your cattle is and how long your cattle can go before you need to get them water again, and what kind of feed your cattle needs, and whether your cattle is pregnant or not pregnant, whether your cattle's in heat or not in heat, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if you're not an African tribesman, what the hell's the difference? What 25 different kinds of brown? They're brown cattle. That's good enough for you and me. But if I took the African herdsman and I brought him here and showed him an automobile, he would say, automobile, that's an automobile. That's all, it's an automobile. It takes you from one place to another. And he would get in and he might grab the rear view mirror and start steering the automobile with the rear view mirror. Because what's the difference? It's an automobile. Isn't it? You steer the thing. What's the difference? What you steer it with. See, for him, those distinctions are not important. But I want to show you what happens when you don't make distinctions. When you don't make distinctions, you wind up driving your automobile down the highway of life with your hands on the rear view mirror instead of the steering wheel. And you have a lot of accidents and a whole big explanation about how driving is very tough. See, you talk to people and they'll tell you how tough life is. Life is tough. Now, some people say life is tough and it's terrible to me. And some people say life is tough and I'm tough and therefore I'm good in life. Or some other nonsense, people have over. But the point is, life is very tough, or it's this or that or the other thing. So that comes from not making the necessary distinctions. In this next section, we make a distinction between two different kinds of knowledge: knowing by experiencing and knowing by conceptualization. He explores the relationship between those two ways of knowing, beginning with the more immediate, the domain of experience. Now, we're going to develop a model of communication, but we're not going to believe anything or figure anything out. We're going to do it scientifically with no leaps of faith, no believing anything. We're going to start with what we got right here. So what you got right here is the pressure of the chair on your backside if you're sitting. That's absolutely immediate. For you, that's right there, right now. So let us say that there's a domain of knowledge, that there's a domain of knowledge called experience. We'll start out with the premise experience is. We'll start out with that premise because it's the most immediate, direct thing available to you. You don't need to figure anything out. You don't need Nothing. You just are. See, it's like start out with what you are experiencing. So that's the pressure of the chair and the thoughts going on in your mind, your feelings, your sense of temperature, whatever, the body sensations, the emotions, whatever your experiences are right now. That's where we're going to start this model, and we're going to say that people can know things experientially. It's like if you read a book on riding a bicycle, can you ride a bicycle? No. If you sit on a bicycle and fall off and get back up and sit on and fall off again and get back up and sit on and fall off and get back up and sit on and fall off. If you do that long enough, you can ride a bicycle. Yes, most people can do. Most people can. Do they know how to ride a bicycle? No. If you mean, could they write a book on how to ride a bicycle? No. If you mean they can explain how to ride a bicycle, yes. If you mean, do they know how to ride a bicycle that they can sit on the bicycle and ride it? So there's clearly distinct domains of knowing. So now we want to do an experiment. We want to do this experiment very rapidly. And we want to do the experiment. Now, some people don't do the experiment. They think about the experiment. And I want you to know that when you think about doing experiments, you don't get different experimental data than when you do the experiments. You get a different experiential data. You do get it, not don't. So none of this is going to make any sense to you if you think about the experiment. You actually have to do it because that's what you need. That's what you need, that data. So here's the experiment. In a moment, I'm going to tell you to describe yourself, what you are experiencing in that moment, because experiencing, this domain of experiencing, is right now, 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 right now. Experience happens like that, doesn't it? It's right now and 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 right now. It's like that. So in a moment, I'm going to ask you, it's like that. So in a moment, I'm going to ask you to describe yourself and what you're experiencing right now. And if you would do that, do describe yourself, what you're experiencing right now. So do that right now. What are you experiencing right now? Another few seconds. And stop, because some of you are thinking about experiment and not doing it. You don't get the data unless you do it. Describe yourself, what you're experiencing right now. Go ahead, right now. Okay, stop. That's enough data. Everybody failed to do what I asked them to do. If they really did the experiment, what you discovered is that you cannot describe what you're experiencing right now, because by the time you stop to describe it, it was not what you were experiencing right now. What it is, what you were experiencing a moment ago, right? So if you actually did the experiment, you know now unequivocally that you cannot describe what you were experiencing. You can only describe what you were experiencing. And it's worse than that. You didn't only fail to describe what you are experiencing, you didn't even describe what you were experiencing, because what you were experiencing no longer exists as an experience. It's disappeared as an experience. It is now a memory of an experience. But see, most people don't make any distinction between an experience and a memory of an experience. They treat them both the same because most people are ignorant. And what's worse, they don't know that they're ignorant. That's called blindness. To not know is one thing. To not know that you don't know, that's tragic. You don't know, and you didn't know that you didn't know that you weren't making a distinction between experience and memories of an experience, and your life reflects it. What do I mean by that? Well, first off, let's tease out the model, because now we have experience and we have the representation of experience. So we've got these two domains of knowing. We've got experience and the memory or the representation of experience, two domains of knowing. So by starting off with nothing more complex than experience, we've already, without any leaps of faith, without having to believe anything, without having to accept anything, we've demonstrated to ourselves that out of experience comes representation of experience. And you and I, for the most part, do not make any distinction between the two. So, for instance, if I say you love your wife, you say, oh yeah, I love my wife, but you don't mean I love my wife. See, when you say I love you to your wife, that's not what you mean. You don't really mean, when you say I love you to your wife, you don't really mean I love you. What you really mean is I live my life consistent with the concept I love you, but the experience is rare, and I don't even make the distinction between the experience and the concept. See, all experience, because of the way you and I are constructed, devolves the concept. Concept is a representation of the thing itself. See, you know, when you have the experience, I love you, it turns your life on. You really feel alive. Things look beautiful. It affects your whole life. Is that what's going on? Or is what's going on is you and I are living in the concept I love you? See, I behave such a way, and I try to feel in such a way, and I try to see in such a way, and I try to act in such a way as to be consistent with the concept I love you. But I don't have the experience very much. And you want to know what it bothers me? Because my experiences are inconsistent with my concepts, and sometimes I feel guilty about it. See, I can put a whole human life together with those two notions. And just those two notions, and just by making those two domains distinct, you can suddenly see the labyrinth in which most people live their lives, with their relationship with the person they say I love you to. See, they don't know why they don't feel it anymore, why the excitement is not there, why the being turned on. is not there, why the aliveness is not there. A lot of serious faces watching this video now. So I tell you that a lot of that is nothing more than a lack of the distinction. I just said an amazing thing. Did you hear what I said? I said making a distinction in domains of knowledge can transform the quality of your life. And you can do it like that. You already did. It's over. You can turn off the video. No, not yet. So you and I just made a distinction between knowledge as experience and knowledge as a concept. And one of the things that's true is experience always devolves experience. Experience always devolves. Experience always devolves into concept. So the instant you get something as an experience, right away it becomes a concept, doesn't it? Instantly. As a matter of fact, what you can do about experiencing, you can't do anything about it. The instant you try to notice it, see, the instant it's worse than you can't describe your experience. You can't do anything with your experience because the minute you try to notice what you're experiencing, it isn't what you're experiencing. It's what you were experiencing, and it isn't what you were experiencing. It's the concept of what you were experiencing, and the two things are different. One sec. Let's see. What's up, YouTube gloop? Chin has disappeared from these. There you go. Is this child about to discover Solipism? What is Solipism? I wasn't constructed, though. Yeah, you were born. You have 2 ears, 2 eyes, 1 mouth. Wait, is that the mini slot? Yes, that is a mini slot machine. This essay is boring. Yeah, just pull the conversation to you. Why are you hiding your chin? I'm just sitting comfortably. What's down there? What do you have to Are you a wanted criminal or very recognizable chin? It's the wild you wrote the audience engagement into the script. Yeah. This doesn't need to be live. You can do. Yeah, I am. I'm just using the live as a recording tool. Yeah, I mean, you can call it what you want to call it. You can say that you're not constructed. That's fine. What I mean is you were born with 2 ears and 1 mouth, et cetera, et cetera. You know, when you go into a restaurant, you read the menu, you eat the menu. No kidding. People eat the menu because they don't make any distinction between the meal and the menu. And it makes them ignorant. And not only that, they don't know that they're ignorant. So they're blind. Now, what really happens is the concept then begins to determine the experience. So when you meet somebody, you don't meet them freshly, authentically, openly. You don't say, this person. No, you say, let's see. Now you look like somebody I knew over there, and let's see, you have this, and so you must be like that, and you have gray hair, so you must be like this, and you're sitting next to that gentleman, so I mean, you're sitting there with that gentleman, then you got to be like that, and so on and so forth. See, what happens is experience devolves into concept, and concept begins to determine experience, and the conceptually determined experience reinforces the concept, and the reinforced concept more fully dominates the experience, and the more fully dominated experience, more you got the stuff to people who are good at going through the motions. You got security and position and reputation. You might even be an expert, an authority, a world figure looked up to by everyone, etc., etc., etc. Whatever you think is good, all that's possible functioning in this vicious circle where the experience devolves to concept, concept begins to dominate the experience, the dominant experience reinforces the concept. You got a vicious circle. Then people don't know why their achievements don't really nurture them. Let's see, here we get 20 minutes. All right, peace, love. See you later. Bye. You have a great laugh. Thank you. Awesome. No problem. I thought you may be a robot. I won't interrupt anymore. We'll be back with more live in 2 seconds. I just got to start a new one. But staying subbed. All the best, mate. Oh, are you Australian?